Hello and welcome to Big Orbit Games unboxing of the new Star Wars Armada Imperial Fighter Squadron expansion pack. So this introduces more squadrons to the Imperial's Armada arsenal. See here, nice Disney logo, and it shows you the card sleeves you need for the cards. Because it is a clamshell, I have cut this so it's more easy to open. You don't really want to sit and watch me trying to cut this open. So let's get into this. So in the back here, we have the credits and the component list. It shows you everything that you get in them. So you get 8 squadrons in total. We've already seen the TIE Fighter in the core set, but this now adds the Interceptor, the Advanced, and the Bomber, along with their character versions. So, right. So we'll dig in first into the tokens and cards. Once I can get them out of the packaging. So, we have the tokens here. As you see, these are the start of the dials and the defense tokens needed for the characters, primarily braces, but with a few scatters, activation sliders and identifier markers. As before, they're double-sided, so that's the, I believe, the TIE Advanced. Nice little reminder there of their ability as well. And we have here the other discs and sliders. So for the TIE Bomber, Interceptor and Fighters, again a reminder that they've got Bomber and Heavy, and the TIE Fighter's counter, and again we have the characters on the back and the activation sliders. So there's no real waste there at all. You get every token that you could possibly need, which is nice. And not really any excess, although I'm sure if you're collecting them all, you'll end up with so many identifying tokens. So first, the cards. We have the TIE Fighter Squadron. We saw this in the core set with its swarm ability, nice and cheap at just 8 points. 3 dice against squadrons with the swarm allowing to re-roll 1 if they're engaged with another TIE. So you always want to take these as swarms. 4 speed and 3 hull, nice and fast, but they're not going to survive too long. 1 blue anti-ship dice means you really shouldn't be throwing these against ships, except in large quantities. The character one is Mauler Mythal. Same stat line as a normal TIE Fighter, but with Swarm he also has Brace and Scatter, but he comes with his ability, after you move, each squadron engaged with you suffers 1 damage. So Mauler is very punishing to your opponent's squadrons. Get him to move into engagement range and they're automatically taking damage straight away before anyone's even started rolling dice. Against the rebels, they tend to have a little higher health on their squadrons, so pinging off those little bits is nice. And against fellow Imperial players, well, they only start with 3 on ties, so you're going to be taking them out of the skies pretty quick. On to one of the new squadrons, the TIE Advance. Sadly, this doesn't see much play in X-Wing, and I can't see it doing much play in Armada either. It's got a speed of 4 and a hull of 5, so it's got a higher hull than TIE Fighter. Same amount of dice for anti-squadron though, 3 blue and 1 black against ship, so you could theoretically target a ship with it, but without Bomber, you're not really going to be doing any damage. And it has the escort rule. And I assume that really the TIE Advance is only going to be used in the role of escorting other squadrons, but with the TIE Fighters being so cheap, I can't see why you'd really want to use these. Then we're on to the character, Darth Vader himself. So, same stat line, but improves his anti-squadron up to 1 black dice. Still has escort, double brace, and his ability, while attacking, each of your crit icons adds 1 damage to the damage total. Now this, I could see being played. He's expensive at 21 points, but because his criticals add damage, his anti-squadron and his anti-ship fire is going to hurt whatever you target it with, and potentially you could be one-shotting entire squadrons like X-Wings with them. We then have the TIE Interceptor. So speed 5, the fastest it can go. Only 3 hull still, but with 4 blue anti-squadron and 1 blue anti-ship. It's also got Swarm, same as the TIE Fighters, but it adds in counter 2. So when they're attacked, as long as it's a non-counter attack, even if they're destroyed, they get to roll 2 blue dice against that squadron. So this is exactly its namesake. It's perfect for shooting off at the board, engaging your opponents, say bomber squadron or their own interceptors, and engaging them and quite readily taking them down, especially with those 4 blue dice. And at 11 points, that's not too bad a roll for them. The character 1 is Suntiafel. I'm sure anyone who plays X-Wing will know that name oh so well. Same stat line as a normal TIE Interceptor, with counter 2 and Swarm, but he gains a brace and a scatter. However, he also has the ability that after a squadron you're engaged with performs a non-counter attack, if they didn't target him, they suffer damage. So your opponent has to prioritise who they're targeting, especially if you combine this with, say, someone like Maul Mythal. He's going to hurt your opponent's squadrons just by him being there. Add in Suntiafel, and your opponent could be taking quite a bit of damage just for attacking and being in the same space. And at 18 points, it's not too expensive either for a character. We then move on to the TIE Bomber. So this is speed 4, quite fast, especially for a bomber. 5 hull, 1 black anti-ship, and 1 black anti-squadron. Has the bomber and the heavy rule. So heavy is it doesn't prevent your opponent's squadrons from moving or shooting even though they're engaged. And bomber allows its crit icons to add 1 damage and the critical effect. So remember that black dice is actually quite punishing and can deal some damage. It is limited. I certainly wouldn't try and use these against other squadrons, although they could do damage if need to, but they're definitely designed for their bombing role of targeting capital ships. And at 9 points, they're not too expensive either, which is good. And their character is Major Rhymer, who doesn't rhyme, sadly. Exactly the same stat lines as a bomber, apart from his anti-squadron gained a blue dice. And he has the ability, friendly ships at distance 1 from him can attack enemy ships at close to medium range using all dice in their battery armament. So, if you fly Major Rhymer with a swarm of bombers, they can attack at close to medium range, which is great because you can move them in with their guard, use the guard to intercept and engage the opponent, leaving the bombers behind, slightly behind them, out of engagement range of the squadrons, leaving them free to attack any capital ships. He is a 7-point upgrade from a normal bomber, so he is 16 points. But if you're going to be taking bombers, you should definitely consider taking Major Rhymer with them. So we've got a nice few cards there. It's unfortunate that the TIE Advanced isn't better than what it is, but the characters are very nice, very good character cards. So yeah, and then we're on to the models themselves. So nice little storage tray for them. So they all come in 1 bag. Everything's in there. I'm just gonna pour these out. So we'd already seen the TIE Fighter in the original Armada core set, so it's really the Interceptor, the Bomber, and the Advance that we want to see. So I'm just going to put one of each on here and show you, because they are so small, I find it very difficult to hold them up to the camera on their own. So just there we go. So here we are. Interceptor, TIE Bomber and TIE Advanced. They're quite simple. There's not a huge amount of detailing to them, but I mean, at this sort of scale, it's difficult to get much on there. You can see a little bit of flash still in there. Especially with those panels, it'd be difficult to get much detailing on them. But you can still see the cockpits and the iconic shape in there. So they're quite nice. They're nice and simple. You'll be seeing quite a few of these scrolling across the board. I've seen some beautiful repaint jobs online, and I'm sure someone will do the same with these as well. You definitely want to get the Royal Guard design on those interceptors. And the TIE Fighter itself, very much the same as what you got in the core set, not much difference there. So, there you go. Not a huge amount of difference. Again, quite a simple mould, not a huge amount of detail to it. But it gets the job done. So there we are. That is the Imperial fighter expansion. With these new fighter expansions, I expect Squadrons to become a much bigger part of the Armada game. I can see them being played a lot more. There's some nice combinations. Combining Suntiafal with Maul Mythal will be absolutely disgusting. Opponents, you're going to engage them with Maul Mythal, deal a damage, and then if they don't attack him, Suntiafal will... so if they don't attack Suntia, if he's there as well, they'll then take further damage. As we'll see later, there's some upgrade cards which do combine with this as well for extra activations, which is cool. So that is everything from the Imperial Fighter Squadron expansion pack. Remember, everything you see here today, you can order from our website, bigorbitcards.co.uk. My name is Simon, and join us later when I review more of Star Wars Armada Wave 1. Bye.